Good morning. Today's topic is kidney. Functions of kidney. Kidney excretes waste products of metabolism. It regulates body's concentration of water and salt, maintains appropriate acid-base balance, and serves as an endocrine organ, secreting various hormones. This is the anatomy of kidney, showing the calyces, renal pelvis, renal artery, medulla, vein, ureter, and cortex. Adult weight is 150 grams. Ureter enters into kidney at the hilum, dilates into funnel-shaped cavity pelvis, which derive 2 or 3 major branches, major calyces. Each of these are divided into minor calyces. Cut surface kidney is made up of cortex and medulla. Medulla consists of renal pyramids, apices of which are called papillae. Cortical tissue extends into spaces between adjacent pyramids as the renal columns of Bertin. Glomeruli. It consists of endothelial cells, fenestrated glomerular basement membrane, visceral epithelial cells, that is podocytes, and mesangial cells as shown in the figure. This is the structure of a glomeruli, showing the blood flow through efferent arteriole, through the Bowman's capsule and glomerulus it is filtrated, and if blood is returned back by efferent arteriole and filtrate goes to proximal tubule. For standpoint of diseases of the kidney, it is divided into blood vessels, glomeruli, tubules, and interstitium. Acute proliferative glomerulonephritis. On the A figure shows normal glomerulus, B shows glomerular hypercellularity due to intercapillary leukocytes and proliferation of intrinsic glomerular cells. Rapidly progressive crescentic glomerulonephritis. It does not denote a specific etiology form. Rapid and progressive loss of renal function associated with severe oliguria, and if untreated, death from renal failure within weeks to months. Histology shows presence of crescent in most of the glomeruli. Kidneys are enlarged, pale, often with petechial hemorrhage on cortical surface. Depending on the underlying cause, the glomeruli may show focal necrosis. Light microscopy is characterized by formation of crescent due to proliferation of parietal cells and by migration of monocyte and macrophage into urinary space. Crescent eventually obliterate Bowman capsule and compress the glomerular tuft. Fibrin strands are prominent between cellular layers in the crescent. The figure shows the crescentic glomerulonephritis, the collapsed glomerular tufts, and the crescent-shaped mass of proliferating cells and leukocytes which are internal to Bowman's capsule. The causes of enlarged white kidney are PGN, membranous glomerulonephritis, membranoproliferative, amyloid, some cases of SLE, minimal change disease, and diabetic nephropathy. Due to edema and associated vascular compression, soft capsule can be easily stripped off. Pallor of cortex and medulla looks congested. Yellow fatty patches or streaks may be seen. This is the gross photo of the kidney, which is enlarged in size and weight. Cortex shows tiny petechial hemorrhage visible through the capsule. It is common in malignant nephrosclerosis. Causes of flea-bitten kidney are malignant hypertension, some cases of acute post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis, some cases of RPGN, subacute bacterial endocarditis, and some cases of SLE, HUS, TTP, and Henoch's colon purpura. Chronic glomerulonephritis. It is insidious in onset or pool of end-stage glomerular disease fed by a number of streams of specific types of glomerulonephritis like post-streptococcal, rapidly progressive membranous focal glomerulosclerosis, and membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis. Morphology. Kidneys are symmetrically contracted, have diffusely granular cortical surface due to elevation as a result of compensatory hypertrophy and depressions due to degeneration followed by fibrosis and scarring. On section, cortex is thinned and there is increase in peripelvic fat. Glomerular histology depends on the stage of disease. In early cases, the glomeruli may still show evidence of primary disease, example membranous glomerulonephritis or MPGN. However, there eventually ensues hyaline obliteration of glomeruli, transforming them into acellular eosinophilic masses. Hyaline represents a combination of trapped plasma proteins, increased mesangial matrix, basement membrane-like material, and collagen. Because hypertension is an accompaniment of chronic glomerulonephritis, arterial and arteriolar sclerosis. Marked atrophy of associated tubules, irregular interstitial fibrosis, and mononuclear leukocytic infiltration of interstitium also occur. This is the figure of short contracted kidney of glomerulonephritis. Kidney small contracted, capsule adherent to cortex and has granular surface. Chronic glomerulonephritis, Mason trichome preparation shows complete replacement of virtually all glomeruli by blue staining collagen. Clinical course: it develops insidiously, slowly progresses to renal insufficiency or death from uremia during a span of years or possibly decades. Slow progressive loss of GFR, hypertension, variable hematuria, proteinuria. Not infrequently, patients present with such non-specific complaints as loss of appetite, anemia, vomiting, or weakness. Causes of small contracted kidney: chronic glomerulonephritis, granular appearance, benign nephrosclerosis, V-shaped scars, chronic pyelonephritis, U-shaped scars. Nodules are broad, coarse, patchy, and unilateral. Less common causes of myelodysis of kidney, myeloma kidney, and diabetic nephropathy. A figure shows a myeloid deposition in the glomerulus. Pyelonephritis. It is a renal disorder affecting the tubules, interstitium, and renal pelvis. One of the most common diseases of the kidney. It occurs in two forms, acute and chronic. Acute is caused by bacterial infection and is renal lesion associated with UTI. Chronic pyelonephritis is a more complex disorder. Bacterial infection plays a dominant role, but other factors, vesicourethral reflex, obstruction, are involved in its pathogenesis. Pathways of renal infection. Hematogenous infection results from bacteremic spread. More common is ascending infection, which results from a combination of urinary bladder infection, vesicourethral reflex, and intrarenal reflex. Acute pyelonephritis. Kidneys are enlarged with a dense capsule. Outer surface shows multiple creamy spots, small abscess of yellowish color. Acute pyelonephritis. Hallmarks of acute pyelonephritis are patchy interstitial suppurative inflammation, intratubular aggregates of neutrophils, and tubular necrosis. After the acute phase of pyelonephritis, healing occurs. There is neutrophilic infiltrate is replaced by one that is predominantly mononuclear with macrophages, plasma cells, and later lymphocytes. Inflammatory foci are eventually replaced by scars. Figure shows acute pyelonephritis. The purulent exudate present in the renal tubules and parenchyma, along with tubular destruction and abscess formation. Figure shows chronic pyelonephritis. The kidneys are small, capsule firmly adherent and thickened with scars on the surface. On section, cortex is thin and corticomedullary differentiation are indistinct. Pelvic mucosa is thickened and fibrotic. Chronic pyelonephritis. The tubules show atrophy in some areas and hypertrophy or dilatation in others. Dilated tubules with flattened epithelium may be filled with colloid cast thyroidization. There are varying degrees of chronic interstitial inflammation and fibrosis in the cortex and medulla. CP and gross microscopy. A low power view shows a corticomedullary renal scar with an underlying dilated deformed calyx and thyroidization of tubules in the cortex. Chronic pyelonephritis. The clinical features are frequently asymptomatic. Hypertension, proteinuria is often absent or negligible. Urine culture is usually negative. Rhenthogranulomatous pyelonephritis. It is a relatively rare form of chronic pyelonephritis characterized by accumulation of foamy macrophages intermingled with plasma cell, lymphocyte, polymorphonuclear leukocyte, and occasional giant cells, as shown in the figure on right, often associated with proteus infections. A figure shows the urinary tract obstruction, obstructive uropathy at the various places along the tract of urinary system. Renal calculi and hydronephrosis. Dilatation of renal pelvis and calyces is associated with progressive atrophy of kidney due to obstruction of outflow of urine is known as hydronephrosis. High pressure in pelvis is transmitted back through collecting duct into cortex, causing renal atrophy. Obstruction also triggers interstitial inflammatory reaction, leading eventually to interstitial fibrosis. Figure shows marked dilatation of pelvis and calyces and thinning of renal parenchyma. Polycystic kidney disease as shown below. The cysts are not communicating with pelvic calyceal system. Renal pelvis and calyces are distorted due to cystic change. Hydronephrosis of kidney as shown in the figure below. Large stone in pelvis of the kidney. The cystic change seen to extend in renal parenchyma, compressing thin cortex as a thin rim at the periphery. Unlike polycystic kidney, however, these cysts are communicating with pelvic calyceal system. Clinical course. The acute obstruction may provoke pain attributed to distension of collecting system or renal capsule. Unilateral, complete, or partial hydronephrosis may remain silent for long periods. In bilateral partial obstruction, the earliest manifestation is inability to concentrate urine, reflected by polyuria and nocturia. Complete bilateral obstruction results in oliguria, anuria, and is incompatible with long survival. Urolithiasis. There are 4 main types of calculi. Most stones are calcium containing, composed of calcium oxalate or oxalate mixed with calcium phosphate. 15% are triple stones or struvite stones composed of magnesium, ammonium, and phosphate. 5 to 10% are uric acid and 1 to 2% are made up of cysteine. Calcium oxalate stones are associated in hypercalcemia and hypercalciuria caused by hyperparathyroidism, diffuse bone disease, sarcoidosis, and other hypercalcemic states. Magnesium ammonium phosphate stones are formed largely after infections by urea splitting bacteria, example protease and some staphylococci, which convert urea to ammonia. The resultant alkaline urine causes the precipitation of magnesium ammonium phosphate salts. Uric acid stones are composed in patients with hyperuricemia such as gout. Cysteine stones are caused by genetic defect in renal absorption of amino acid cysteine leading to cystinuria. Renal cell carcinoma. 85% of renal cancer in adults, the older individuals usually in 6th and 7th decade, are more prone. Male preponderance because of gross yellow color and resemblance of the tumor cells to clear cells of adrenal cortex, earlier called hypernephroma. Now, as tumors arise from tubular and epithelium, renal adenocarcinoma. Epidemiology. Tobacco is the most significant risk factor. Cigarette smokers have double the incidence of renal cell carcinoma than do non-smokers. Additional risk factors are obesity, particularly in women, hypertension, unopposed estrogen therapy, and exposure to asbestos, petroleum products, and heavy metals. Hereditary and acquired cystic disease of kidney, analgesic nephropathy. Increased incidence in patients with chronic renal failure and acquired cystic disease in tuberous sclerosis. Most renal cancer is sporadic, but unusual forms of autosomal dominant familial cancers occur. Classification of renal cell carcinomas: clear cell 70%, papillary 15%, chromophobe 5%, collecting duct 0.5%, granular cell type 8%, and sarcomatoid type 1.5%. Clear cell carcinoma is the most common type, accounting for 70 to 80% of renal cell cancers. Histologic examination: tumors are composed of cells with clear or granular cytoplasm and are non-papillary. Grossly, clear cell neoplasm arise most likely from proximal tubular epithelium and occur as solitary unilateral lesions. Spherical mass is yellow, grey, white tissue. Yellow color is a consequence of prominent lipid accumulation in tumor cells. Large areas of ischemic opaque grey-white necrosis, foci of hemorrhagic discoloration, and areas of shortening. The margins are usually sharply defined and confined within the renal capsule. Microscopy. In renal clear cell carcinoma, growth pattern varies from solid to trabecular or tubular. Tumor cells are round, polygonal shape and abundant clear or granular cytoplasm. Later on, special stains contain glycogen and lipids. Tumors have delicate branching vasculature and may exhibit cystic as well as solid areas. Most tumors are well differentiated, but some show marked nuclear atypia with formation of desired nuclei and giant cells. Figure on the right is the gross photo of RCC and on the left of clear cell RCC microscopy. Papillary carcinoma. 10 to 15% of renal cancer characterized by papillary growth pattern, both familial and sporadic forms. They are thought to arise from distal convoluted tubule. It can be multifocal and bilateral, typically hemorrhagic and cystic, especially when large. Papillary carcinomas are the most common type of renal cancer in patients who develop dialysis-associated cystic disease. Striking characteristics of this tumor is its tendency to invade renal vein and grow as a solid column of cells within this vessel. Further extension produces a continuous cord of tumor in inferior vena cava and even in right side of heart. Microscopy. The papillary carcinoma is composed of cuboidal or low columnar cells arranged in papillary formation. Psammoma bodies may be present. Stroma is usually scanty but highly vascularized. Chromophobe renal carcinoma represents 5% of renal cell cancers, composed of cells with prominent cell membrane and pale eosinophilic cytoplasm, usually with a halo around the nucleus. They are like the benign oncocytoma thought to grow from intercalated cells of collecting ducts. It has excellent prognosis. Histologic distinction from oncocytoma can be difficult. Chromophobe RCC is made up of pale eosinophilic cells, often with a perinuclear halo arranged in solid sheet with a concentration of largest cells around the blood vessel. Clinical course. 3 classic diagnostic features of renal cell carcinoma are costovertebral pain, palpable mass, and hematuria, but these are seen in only 10% of cases. The most reliable of the three is hematuria, but it is usually intermittent and may be microscopic. Thus, the tumor may remain silent until it attains a large size. At this time, it gives rise to generalized constitutional symptoms such as fever, malaise, weakness, and weight loss. This pattern of asymptomatic growth occurs in many patients, so the tumor may have reached a diameter of 10 cm when it is discovered. Prognosis. Average 5-year survival rate of patient about 45% up to 70% in absence of distant mets. With renal vein invasion or extension into perinephric fat, figure is reduced to approximately 15 to 20%. Nephrectomy has been the treatment of choice, but partial nephrectomy to preserve renal function is being done with increasing frequency and similar outcome. Wilms tumor. It is an embryonic tumor derived from primitive renal epithelium and mesenchymal components. Most common abdominal malignant tumor in young children between 1 to 6 years of age with equal sex incidence. Large spheroidal replacing most of the kidney. Solitary and unilateral, but 5 to 10% cases are bilateral. On cut section, it is soft flesh-like fish flesh with grey-white to cream yellow with foci of necrosis and hemorrhage. Classically, it is known as triphasic tumor composed of blastomal component having small cubical cells with high NC ratio, epithelial component in form of aborted tubules, nerves, etc., mesenchymal components having spindle cells. The figure on the left shows the gross and on the right and below shows the microscopy of Wilms tumor. On the right, the primitive epithelial differentiation in form of aborted tubule is seen. Urothelial transitional cell tumors. They are of type papilloma, papillary carcinoma, that is invasive papillary carcinoma, then flat non-invasive carcinoma and flat invasive carcinoma. Gross figure of carcinoma urinary bladder is as shown below. The figure A shows papilloma consisting of small papillary fronds lined by normal appearing urothelium. The B shows the low-grade papillary urothelial carcinoma with an overall orderly appearance, thicker lining than papilloma and scattered hyperchromatic nuclei and mitotic figures. The figure C shows high-grade papillary urothelial carcinoma with marked cytologic atypia. Cystitis. It is the inflammation of urinary bladder. The most common etiologic agents are coliforms, E. coli followed by Proteus, Klebsiella and Enterobacter. Women are more likely to develop cystitis as a result of the shorter urethra. Predisposing factors include bladder calculi, urinary obstruction, diabetes mellitus, instrumentation and immune deficiency. Irradiation of bladder region gives rise to radiation cystitis. In acute cystitis, there is hyperemia of mucosa and neutrophilic infiltrate, sometimes associated with exudate. Patients receiving cytotoxic anti-tumor drugs such as cyclophosphamide may develop hemorrhagic cystitis. Persistence of bacterial infection leads to chronic cystitis associated with mononuclear inflammatory infiltrate. Other patterns of chronic cystitis are follicular cystitis characterized by presence of lymphoid follicle within bladder mucosa and underlying wall. Eosinophilic cystitis manifested by infiltration with submucosal eosinophils typically is a non-specific acute inflammation but may also be a manifestation of systemic allergic disorder. All forms of cystitis are characterized by a triad of symptoms: frequency, in which acute cases may necessitate urination every 15 to 20 minutes. Lower abdominal pain localized over bladder region or in suprapubic region and dysuria, pain or burning on urination. Local symptoms of cystitis may be merely disturbing, but these infections may also be antecedent to pyelonephritis. Cystitis is sometimes a secondary complication of underlying disorder associated with urinary stasis such as prostatic enlargement, cystocele of bladder, calculi, or tumors. These primary diseases must be corrected before the cystitis can be relieved. Renal failure is defined as significant loss of renal function in both kidneys to the point where less than 10 to 20% of normal GFR remains. Renal failure may occur as an acute and rapidly progressive process or may present as a chronic form in which there is progressive loss of renal function over a number of years. Acute renal failure has an abrupt onset and is potentially reversible. Chronic failure progresses slowly over at least 3 months and can lead to permanent renal failure. Pathophysiology of renal failure. In renal failure, there is either glomerular or tubular dysfunction. Example, glomerulonephritis primarily causes of glomerular damage. Aminoglycoside nephrotoxicity is mainly in tubules. Glomerular dysfunction. As the main function of glomeruli is filtration, glomerular dysfunction leads to fall in GFR with retention of those substances usually cleared by filtration, including water. Tubular dysfunction. As the main function of tubules is reabsorption, tubular failure results in voiding of large volume of dilute urine of low specific gravity along with electrolyte and nutrients. Thank you.